The Veil Nebula wasn't on any official star chart. To the Synod, it was a cosmic dead zone, ripples of unstable gravity, ion storms that scrambled AI logic, and quantum eddies that made navigation suicidal. To everyone else, it was myth. But to Earth defense, it was sanctuary. As the UNS Vireo dropped out of slipstream at the nebula's edge, the crew saw why. The Veil wasn't chaotic. It was alive. Ribbons of violet and gold plasma coiled like serpents around asteroid clusters, pulsing in slow, rhythmic waves. Strange crystalline formations floated in the void, humming with resonant frequencies that made the ship's hull vibrate. Scans show a Class M world dead ahead, Tisa Lin reported, eyes narrowed at her console. Atmosphere breathable. Gravity 1.02 G and 7 artificial structures on the surface, arranged in a spiral. Elira Voss leaned forward. Seed 7 Kale Renner exhaled softly. The last standard. Joris Menix wiped grease from his brow. Hope they've got coffee, and not the kind that tries to merge with your nervous system. Doc ignored the joke. If they've been isolated for 30 years, they won't trust us. We're outsiders, possibly Synod spies. Then we don't give them a reason to doubt, Elira said. No weapons. No transponders. Just truth. They landed in a clearing ringed by towering obsidian monoliths, each etched with the same 7-pointed spiral Elira had seen in her vision. No guards, no drones, just silence. Then, movement. Figures emerged from the tree line, tall, lean, eyes sharp, skin faintly luminescent under the nebula's glow. They wore woven robes, carried no visible weapons, and moved with eerie synchronicity. One stepped forward, a woman with silver-streaked black hair and eyes that seemed to hold starlight. You carry the echo, she said, voice calm but probing. The archive song, Elira nodded. We awakened it, the woman studied her. I am Elder Mira. This is Ivra, Seed 7, and you are the ghosts of a dead world. We're survivors, Elira corrected gently. And we came to warn you. The Synod knows this place exists. A ripple passed through the group. Not fear, resistance, Mira turned. Follow. Evra wasn't a colony. It was a symphony. Homes were grown from bioengineered coral. Fields bloomed with luminous crops that pulsed in time with the nebula. Children played with floating orbs of contained plasma, laughing as they shaped them into birds and stars. They've evolved, Kyle whispered as they walked. Not just physically, psychically. They're attuned to the Veil's resonance. Doc scanned discreetly. Their brainwave patterns, they're linked. Not like the Synod's forced network. This is voluntary, organic. Mira led them to a central chamber, a dome open to the sky, where 7 elders sat in a circle around a pool of liquid light. You stand at the 7th point, Mira said, gesturing to an empty space in the circle, the one that dreams of fire. Elira stepped forward. We came to offer alliance. The Synod is coming, and this time they won't just erase you, they'll harvest you. One elder, a man with bark-like skin, spoke. We know, the Veil warned us. The nebula warned you? Joris asked skeptically. It sings, Mira said simply, and for 3 nights it has sung of blades. Before Elira could respond, the ground trembled. Alarms, silent but felt in the bones, rippled through the settlement. Mira's face hardened. They're here. On the edge of the nebula, 3 Synod Purifier-class vessels emerged from slipstream. Massive, cathedral-like warships designed for total planetary compliance. But they weren't alone. At their center flew the obsidian blade of the emissary Kalen. She led them here, Tisa hissed. No, Kale said, analyzing comms chatter. She's broadcasting a jamming signal, slowing them down, buying us time. Elira's jaw tightened. Then we don't waste it. She turned to Mira. Do you have defenses? We have harmony, the elder replied. Not war. That won't stop plasma lances, Joris muttered. But Elira saw something in Mira's eyes, not fear but resolve. The Veil protects us, Mira said, but only if we do not fight. Then you'll die, Elira said bluntly. The Synod doesn't negotiate with anomalies. It sterilizes them. Silence, then Mira asked, what would your Earth have done? Elira met her gaze. Fought dirty, fought smart, fought to survive. Mira closed her eyes, opened them. Then show us how. The humans and Avrans prepared Joris. and the colony's tech weavers jury-rigged resonance, amplifiers into the monoliths, turning them into sonic emitters that could disrupt Synod targeting. Tessa and Avron scouts mapped ion pockets in the atmosphere, perfect for ambushes. Kale and Doc worked with the elders to encode human defiance into Avron biosignals, creating false harmony pulses to confuse Synod scans. But Elira faced the hardest task, convincing the people. She stood before the gathered colony in the central dome. "I know you've built something beautiful here," she said, voice carrying without amplification. "Peace, unity, a life untouched by war. But the galaxy isn't fair. The Synod doesn't care about your peace. To them, your uniqueness is a disease." A young man stepped forward. "So you ask us to become like them? Violent, fearful?" "No," Elira said. "I ask you to become more. Not warriors, protectors. There's a difference." She held up the fracture device, now dormant but still humming faintly. "This was built from human chaos. But chaos isn't destruction. It's choice. The choice to stand when logic says run, to hope when certainty says surrender." She looked at Mira. "You don't have to kill, but you must be willing to defend." Mira nodded slowly. "Then we will not fight, but we will not fall." The Synod attack began at dawn. Purifier ships descended, firing compliance beams meant to pacify the population, not destroy them. But the beams hit the monoliths, amplified by Joris's mods. The resonance shattered the beams and sent feedback screaming through the Synod vessel's neural cores. One purifier listed violently, its crew disconnecting en masse. But the emissary ship held steady. Kalen's voice echoed over open comms. "Cold. Official, Seed 7. You're in violation of cosmic harmony. Surrender your genetic divergence for preservation." Mira stepped to the edge of the settlement, arms raised. "We choose dissonance." Kalen paused. Then you choose extinction." The emissary ship fired, not a compliance beam, but a harvest lance. Elira shouted, "Now!" From hidden caves, Avron plasma orbs launched, guided by children who'd played with them for years. They struck the lance midair, destabilizing it. Tisa, in a stolen Synod scout skiff, darted through the chaos, planting chronoton charges on the purifier's underbelly. Joris triggered the monolith's final sequence, a pulse tuned to the fracture device's frequency. The fracture device, held by Elira at the center of the spiral, awakened. Not with destruction, but with memory. A wave of blue light erupted, not outward, but inward, into the Veil Nebula itself. The nebula responded. Plasma streams coiled around the Synod ships like living vines. Gravity wells opened and closed like jaws. The very fabric of space warped, not randomly, but intentionally. The Veil wasn't just a sanctuary. It was alive and angry. One purifier was torn apart by tidal forces. Another vanished into a quantum fold. Only the emissary ship remained. Kalen's vessel hovered, shields flickering. Then, she opened a private channel to Elira. "You used the Veil's song," she said, voice strained. "But it has a price. The more it fights, the more it wakes. And what sleeps beneath is older than the Synod." "What sleeps?" Elira asked. "The reason the Synod fears divergence," Kalen replied, "because something out there rewards it." She cut the channel, then shockingly the emissary ship turned and fired on the last purifier. The Synod vessel exploded. Kalen's ship hovered for a moment, then vanished into slipstream. Silence returned. In the aftermath, Evra stood intact, but changed. The elders gathered around Elira. "We owe you our survival," Mira said. "But you have awakened something we were meant to guard, not use." She led Elira to the central pool of liquid light. In its depths a shape moved, vast, ancient, coiled in slumber. "The Veil is not just a nebula," Mira whispered. "It is a cradle. And what sleeps within is the first divergent mind, the one that taught humanity to dream." Elira understood. Earth hadn't just hidden Seed 7 here for safety. They'd been left to watch the dreamer. Mira placed a hand on Elira's shoulder. "You may stay, rebuild, heal." Elira looked at her crew, exhausted, changed, alive. Then she shook her head. "Our fight isn't over. The Synod will send more. And if that thing wakes..." She glanced at the pool. "The galaxy won't be ready." Mira nodded. "Then take this." She handed Elira a small crystal, carved in the 7-pointed spiral. "It holds the Veil's song. Use it only when hope fails. As the Vireo prepared for launch, Kale approached Illyra. "Kalen saved us," he said. "But she's still Synod." "Not anymore," Illyra replied. "She chose dissonance too." Back in orbit, the crew gathered on the bridge. "Where to now?" Tessa asked. Illyra pulled up a star map. One system pulsed faintly, the origin point of dozens of rebel replies to their truth packet. "The Helios Drift wasn't the only listening post," she said. "There's another. Outpost Theta, deep in the fringe." Joris groaned. "Let me guess. Booby-trapped, haunted, and full of ancient Earth secrets?" "Probably," Illyra said, a ghost of a smile on her lips. Doc checked the fracture device. It was quiet again, but the spiral symbol on its surface now glowed faintly in sync with Mira's crystal. As the Vireo jumped to slipstream, none of them noticed the tiny ripple in the Veil Nebula far below, a ripple that spread faster than light, carrying a single silent thought across the galaxy. They remember. And deep in the dark, something listened.